Hey guys, I want to welcome you to the I'm Local podcast. Today, I'm truly excited to be speaking with Mr. Paul McCracken from Strong Rock Christian School. Paul, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Lincoln. Happy to be on your show.
Absolutely. So, Paul, I know a ton of people know about Strong Rock. They know where Strong Rock is located. But tell us a little bit, give us a brief history of Strong Rock and how Strong Rock got started.
Yeah, Lincoln, we're in our 18th year here at Strong Rock. It was actually the vision and dream of three local businessmen. They happen to be brothers, and they just had the heart and passion to create a Christian school based upon biblical worldview principles and kingdom education. And that vision became a reality in 2007 when they opened the doors to 355 students in their very first year. Now in year 18, we have about 950 students, plus an additional daycare a few miles away. And we sit on this beautiful campus of 138 acres in Henry County, Georgia.
That's phenomenal, Paul. You know, just thinking of the dream that these brothers had to start, a Christian school on the south side of Atlanta. That's phenomenal, and not a small feat at all to be able to pull this off. So I know. With that being said, what was your path like to becoming a head of school CEO at Strong Rock? How did that all come about?
Yeah, I first heard of Strong Rock actually when a friend of mine who I was working with in Jacksonville, Florida, left the school where I was coaching to become the head of school at Strong Rock, probably 2009. And I came up and visited him one day and looked around the school and was just completely amazed by it and made a comment that, hey, if you ever need a finance guy or a good executive, give me a call. I'd be happy to come up and join you. Little did I know that within the next year, I would be getting a phone call, and he invited me up to be the chief financial officer at Strong Rock, which I did in 2010, and I served in that capacity solely till 2017. And when he left, the board asked if I'd be interested in assuming that role as CEO, and I did both roles for a few years, and finally am just the head of school and the chief executive officer now.
Wow. I mean, that's a great testimony right there. It's just thinking about, how God moves you from one place to the next and just falling right into place. So it seems like this has been a perfect match for you.
Yeah, Lincoln, it was funny because in my heart, I was feeling a call towards a nonprofit type Christian ministry, and I just didn't know how to break in or where that was going to be. And so God opening the door in my field of work to work for a Christian education institution. It truly was an answer to prayer for me back in 2010.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I want to talk a little bit about, I know you have some core pillars for the school. So what are those core pillars for the school and what do they represent?
Yeah. So, our foundation is Jesus Christ, and everything's built off that. But the four pillars that we focus on then are academics, athletics, fine arts, and missions. Each of those is equally important. I mean, obviously, we're a school, so academics is very important. But we also believe in a well-rounded student. And so that's why they have the opportunities to show their God-given gifts and talents in the fields of fine arts and also in one of the sports that we offer in the athletics department. But then we also give the chance for students to have a service ministry type of experience and truly promote that spirit, that servant leadership
Yes.
type of quality in their character. And so we offer different local missions trips for some of the younger kids. And as they get older, they can participate in one of about a dozen international missions trips that we do each spring, too. So we encourage students to be well rounded, to participate in each of our four pillars. But each of those four pillars, the success in each of those is still really judged based upon our mission and upon the foundation of how it promotes and prepares students to represent Christ once they leave our hallways and go out into the world, whether it be to school or their job or the rest of their lives.
That's powerful because in the community, I run into parents and students that are from Strong Rock, and I'm always really just so impressed by, not only the student themselves, but just seeing, in a conversation, just having a conversation with students and parents, how well rounded they are. And you talked about missions, which is like one of the most critical things, because we're not in some of the public school systems, they're not getting this. And for a private school to be offering missions, not only in elementary, but you say all the way up, that is like one of the biggest things that I see, because we're under attack right now by the enemy, and having students at that age being able to pour back into others is tremendous. And I know you guys are doing some phenomenal things. So I want to dive in a little bit on that missions pillar. What are some of the what are some of the things that they're doing on some of these foreign trips, and even some of the local trips?
Yeah, what's exciting is later this week, actually, Lincoln, we're doing our Great Day of Service, and it's
Mm,
spread out over this Friday and next Friday. And what we do is we take all of our middle school students on one Friday and all of our high school students on another Friday, and we go and we volunteer at one of about a dozen local nonprofits or ministries. It might be a hospice type of center, and we just volunteer our time. We go and we serve in whatever capacity that they need us or where they need help, cleaning up, painting, anything that they need. It gets us out into the local community and builds relationships with our students, with some of these local organizations that are making a
yes,
difference in our community. And then usually in the spring of every year, we have something called a mini mester, and we actually allow students a week off of school where they can go and travel. It can be as close as somewhere in the Northeast. Some go to Atlanta and different points here, but a lot of them will be traveling internationally to places in Central America, as far away as Africa. We've had some trips to Asia as well, and they get to go and work side by side with different ministry organizations that are pouring into the people, usually people who are very less privileged and in dire economic and poverty situations, and just gives us a chance to love on them, to
yes,
help them. And again, we build things, we support them and their families. We try to work with feeding programs, we take over clothes, and just any way we can support them and help them. But again, I think the most important thing is showing students that perspective, because here in America we are spoiled, and we tend to take certain things for granted. And I think the exposure to people who have much less, but are still just as happy, is great for our kids to see. And some of that, sometimes that ignites a passion for missions in those students,
that's right.
and they kind of find their calling for their life. But most of the time, our students are impacted about as just as much as the people that we're going to impact. So it's really cool to see along the way uh, the change in the students as they work through these service opportunities and these mission trips.
Yeah, and I know that's a like you mentioned, that's a life changing experience, just to be able to see that, growing up in America, and then going overseas, or even like you mentioned, locally, and then just being in a different environment that totally just changes your perspective on things. So Paul, I know you mentioned you have 900 plus students at Strong Rock, and if there are some parents that are watching this or listening to it, and they may be interested in Strong Rock, and they may be trying to figure out, is this a move that I'm going to make? How would this person, really get in contact with Strong Rock, or what will be the next step for them?
Well, man, I would encourage them first to just check out our website at www.strongrockchristianschool.com, and then give our admissions department a call. They'd be happy to set up a tour at any time for you. We have a rolling open admission, so literally a person can kind of enter the school at any time during the year if we have the space and the availability. Also, every Tuesday morning we have a time where you can take a tour of the school. You just have to show up. You don't have to make an appointment or anything. If Tuesday mornings don't work for you, you can call into our admissions department and make an appointment for any time. We love to get people on campus so that they get the feel and just the sense of the spirit and the students and the atmosphere and the culture of Strong Rock. Everyone is welcome, and we'd be happy for them to explore the option of us partnering with them in the education of their children.
That's awesome. That's totally awesome. And just to piggyback off of that as well, Paul, I know that, you know, and this may be coming next year. I think there are some credits or something that's coming down where people can attend a Christian school, or use those dollars to attend a Christian school. Is that something that Strong Rock is looking into or working with?
Yes, it is definitely our intention to participate in that plan. It's actually the Senate Bill 233 that created the Promise Scholarship in Georgia. They're still working on the details and the rollout of that plan, but there will be funds available for students of the lowest 25% of public schools, and there are many in Henry, Clayton, Butts County surrounding us. More details to come, but we will be participating in that program, and there will be an opportunity for students to perhaps gain some scholarships of above $6,000 that they can apply straight towards tuition at Strong Rock to make it much more affordable for their families. We also
That's
do financial aid at Strong Rock. It's purely needs based on a family's income and size, and specific to them. But we do have a lot of families that receive aid, and again, it's used to help bridge that gap between what the tuition costs and what the family can afford to pay.
That's awesome. I'm glad you said that, because I know they're in these economic times right now. I know a lot of people are looking, but at the same time, they want to make a shift where, they're trying to figure out, how do I really pour into my child and get my child from this place to the next? And having those options available can really help some families to get into an environment where they thought they might not have never been able to get into. So, it's great that you mentioned that. Paul, let me ask you two other questions that I wanted to ask you. So, in the next coming years for Strong Rock Christian School, let's look at maybe 5 years down the road. What's in store for Strong Rock? Where are you going next?
Well, we want to continue to be true to our mission, but we're beginning to run out of space in our current facilities. And so one thing that we're doing is we're looking at plans to build a new upper school, which would allow us to minister and educate even more families. And that's certainly a heart and passion of the board, for us to expand the mission of Strong Rock, not to change it or to alter it, but just to be able to impact more students and more families and give them the opportunity for private Christian education. And so we're constantly building programs and trying to create more options for students and for families, and at the same time, just trying to create some more space for them.
Man, that's phenomenal, Paul. I truly appreciate, your insight on Strong Rock, and where your vision is to take Strong Rock to the next level in the next few years. And everything that you shared, as far as your missions and your core pillars, and just the ability to run a school of this magnitude on the south side of Atlanta is phenomenal. So we appreciate your leadership. So I wanted to switch gears, and wrap up a little bit. So I wanted to ask, okay, what's something fun that you do that you're really excited about, that you're like, I just do this outside of Strong Rock. This is something that I just love to do.
Well, it's funny, Lincoln, because I'm actually involved in another nonprofit organization called Army Aviation Heritage Foundation, which is also based in Henry County, and that organization really is out there to honor and promote all of the service done by our Army aviators. And so they have a fleet of Huey and Cobra helicopters that they keep in flyable condition. They give rides, they do education, and it's really just to kind of keep that memory alive, and the
Yes.
honor and the sacrifice that all of our veterans have made. And so I enjoy working with them and getting out and meeting people, and also love flying in the old aircraft because they're truly iconic and vintage, and I hope they'll continue flying forever. But it's a great way to honor those that have served,
Yes.
and also keep the memory of those people alive while teaching people about these iconic aircraft that they used to fly in.
Yeah, I remember, I was a part of a leadership Henry class, and we went out there. I didn't get to go up, so hopefully sometime soon I'll get to, maybe ride with you and we get
Yes,
up there.
yes, come on out. We'd love to get you in one of these helicopters and get you a flight.
All right, I'll take you up on that. So, Paul, look, I truly appreciate your time. Appreciate you being here, and just sharing more about Strong Rock. And I know a lot of people have probably learned a lot about Strong Rock that they didn't know. And I'm sure we could go on and on about Strong Rock and what you guys are doing in the community. So, thanks again for being on. I truly appreciate your time.
I appreciate it, Lincoln. Thanks for having me join you today.
Absolutely.
This is the I'm Local podcast with Lincoln.